What's up, all my drivers out there? One of the most common questions that I get when it comes to being an Uber driver and being a Lyft driver is, what should you have in your car? Now, in the beginning, it was super common to have like bowls of candy and water and gum and mints and all this stuff. And over time, being honest, it's not really as necessary to have all these goodies in your car. However, there are definitely certain items that are must-haves for an Uber driver and a Lyft driver. So in this video, I'm talking about the 10 items you absolutely need in your car when driving for Lyft and driving for Uber. Number 1, a phone mount. Now before I get into it, I just want to say I actually have all the links listed below in the description, not only to the items, but also to my favorite versions of these items. And when talking about a phone mount, the one listed below in the description is my personal favorite. You absolutely need a phone mount, which connects your phone to either the air ventilation system or some attachment to your windshield, basically allowing you to drive, see your phone, and not have to do this kind of thing where you're trying to hold it. I cannot tell you how many times I've even been in Lyft and Uber, or even now, where the driver does that thing where they're driving and they're doing like this head bob motion with the GPS. I mean, one, that's super annoying for you as a driver to do it, but also it's incredibly unsafe. A good phone mount might only cost you about 15 or 20 bucks. I've even seen some decent ones at the dollar store. Just pick one up. It's one of the most important things you can have. Even if you're not driving for Lyft and Uber, and even if, like, say you only drive for Lyft and Uber once in a while, just have a phone mount, because everybody is using their phone as their GPS. That is the world we live in right now, and it still shocks me, especially for Uber drivers and Lyft drivers, that they don't have a phone mount. Number 2, an aux cord. Especially for me, being a DJ music producer, this is massive, not only for when driving, but for your friends as well. And what this allows you to do is connect any phone to your car. So let's say when you're driving, and this is super crucial, on Friday and Saturday nights, you could pull up the aux cord, say, hey, anyone want to DJ? Anyone want to throw on music? And people can play any genre that they want while they're going to the club, their friend's place, some bar, basically whatever they're doing. On top of this is having the headphone jack to iPhone converter. In case you don't know, if you don't have an iPhone, iPhone removed the headphone jack. So if you have a typical aux cord, and let's say everyone in the car has an iPhone, they actually can't connect to your car. So you do need that attachment. So if you want to get that as well, I think that's a kind of a cool pro tip where if, like, say you're driving on a Friday and Saturday night, you're like, hey, whoever wants to DJ, just plug in. They're like, oh shoot, sorry sir, we have iPhones, we can't connect. You're like, oh, you know what, no big deal, I have the adapter. Now you can hook in, play whatever you want. Number 3, a MultiPhone Charger. Again, I have all these listed below in the description. What this is it's basically an attachment that you can plug into your car, and it allows you to charge multiple phones. This is really good for 2 reasons. 1, you can charge 2 phones at once, which is awesome. And 2, you basically have every attachment for any phone. So if someone gets in the car, and I was mentioning iPhones before, and they have an iPhone, you're like, great, here's the attachment for the iPhone. If someone comes in and they have an Android, you have the attachment for an Android. You are all set up if someone needs to charge their phone, and this makes it a lot easier for customer convenience. Number 4, air fresheners. As we all know, first impression means a lot. And one thing I want to say as a quick side note, even though this is not an item, make sure your car looks really good on the outside. Because if you think about it, when you pull up, the first impression, if you want to get a high rating for a passenger, is how your car looks. If it's all dirty and dusty and just doesn't look the best, that is instantly a negative impression even before they step in the vehicle. And once they do open the door, obviously make sure your car is clean on the inside as well. Have to say that. But if you think about it, if your car smells and they open that door and it like hits them in the face of this weird or bad smell, not a good impression right off the bat. And I think, being honest, for most people, they'd probably rather a car be a little bit messy than smell horrible or musty or just not a smell they want to be smelling while they're trying to get to work or going out or whatever the case is. Get an air freshener. They're super cheap. Your passengers will thank you. Number 5, Febreeze. Now, I know I just mentioned air fresheners, but I also like having Febreeze on me as well, because let's say if I'm driving, someone gets in the car and they have McDonald's with them, or if I have to go through the drive-thru, for example, it's not like a permanent smell in my car that smells bad, but it's like a temporary, weird, food-ish smell, or any other smell that somehow got dragged into my car. At least with Febreeze, between rides, I can kind of spray around, roll my windows down, kind of get rid of the smell as much as possible, and then go to pick up the next person. Number 6, napkins. Just get these because you'd be surprised, as you can imagine, water or drinks or food, things spill. It is inevitable, especially if you're doing Friday and Saturday nights. People want to go through the drive-thru, like I said earlier, and you're gonna have all these different food and beverage items in your car. Napkins are an absolute necessity because if anything spills, just in case, you have them. Number 7, caffeine pills. If you are sensitive to caffeine, I'd be a bit hesitant to have caffeine pills. The average amount of caffeine in each caffeine pill is roughly about 200 milligrams. So you're looking about 2 to 3 cups of coffee right in one tiny pill. So keep that in mind if you are sensitive to caffeine. But what I love about caffeine pills is 1, they're super portable, 2, they're super cheap, and 3, they're incredibly convenient. Because if I'm driving and I'm hitting that point where I'm like, oh man, I'm super exhausted, I pop one, in 2 seconds and I'm good to go. As we all know too with coffee, if you have a lot of coffee, it's a diuretic, so you have to go to the bathroom a lot, and that's super frustrating if you're in the city, you're driving, you're like, shoot, I have to go to the bathroom. And now you're in this super unfortunate position of being stuck in some city and just trying to find a bathroom, which we all know is impossible in most cities. But with a caffeine pill, there's no water or liquid with it. So you pop it, you might have like a little liquid to swallow it down, and you're good to go. Number 8, sunglasses. You can get these super cheap. You don't even need wicked expensive sunglasses. Just get some that if you're driving, yeah, you can put down that visor that your car has, especially if you're driving during like the sunrise or sunset hours. It's just a lot easier to have it on your face. You block out the sun because you don't do that weird thing with the visor and you're trying to drive and like move around and adjust the visor depending on the way the angle is hitting you. Or for example, if let's say the sun is coming at you from like a diagonal, the visor can kind of cut it sometimes, but not really. You put the sunglasses on, you don't have to worry about the visor, and it's way safer. Number 9, the Blender Bottle Pro Stack. I love this product. I have no affiliation with them. Just want to stress that. What's cool about it, it's just a blender bottle, so you can have water in it. And there's a little compartment on the bottom that you screw in and it doesn't interact with the water. What's amazing about that is if let's say I want to put in protein in my water or Huel, which is powdered food, that's an amazing powdered food supplement, I can put Huel in the bottom, screw it onto the blender bottle. It's kind of like a mini container attached to it. And let's say when I'm driving, let's say I get hungry, I want a quick snack, all I do is screw off the bottom, pour the powder in the blender bottle, shake it up, chug it, and now I just got a great source of nutrients that doesn't cost you any extra money. It's not like you're getting takeout or some fast food that's obviously really bad for you as well. It is super convenient and super portable. Number 10, a AAA card. This should be required, honestly, for all drivers, not just for Lyft and Uber, but for any driver. I love AAA. Any single time something happens to my car, they give you, in case you don't know, roadside assistance. So if, let's say, my battery dies, if I get a flat tire, if there's some weird thing that's going on with my car that's obviously not like a super intense thing, if it's something they can fix quick right there, they can fix your car right there and you're good to go. 1, AAA is super cheap in terms of the actual like benefits you get. It's an incredibly cheap service. And 2, it could save you a lot of money if you think about it. If you're driving and you get a flat tire and you have to pull over to the side and you say to the passenger like, hey, I'm sorry, I can't bring you any further, I got a flat tire. Well, if you don't know how to fix a flat tire and you don't have AAA, you could just be waiting and there goes your entire day potentially of work. However, if you do have AAA, then all you need to do is call them. They get right there as soon as possible. Sometimes there's some delays. It's kind of all over the place depending on the timing of day, your location, but they get right there. They fix your car right on the spot and you're good to go and continue driving. And now a bonus item is to have a dash cam. Now I already did a video about should you have a dash cam as an Uber driver and as a Lyft driver, and the answer was 100% yes. Hopefully you never have to actually use the footage on the dash cam, but I look at it like insurance, that in case, God forbid, you get into an accident, you have the footage of what the other person was doing. God forbid, if let's say something happens in your car where somebody does something illegal, they try attacking you. Again, these are very, very, very rare situations, but they do happen. And that $100 purchase to have the dash cam right there is completely worth it to avoid any legal fees, any kind of, well, he said this or she said that, all those kind of annoying situations. You have the footage. In addition, almost every dash cam out there records in both angles. So you attach it to your windshield. Not only is it recording what's happening in front of you, but behind you in the car as well, making it super safe. And if any argument or dispute ever happens, again, whether it's an accident or something in your car, you have the footage to show as proof.